everyone, and welcome to another edition of Let's Talk About Ghosts.
Hello.
Today we have something else to talk about. We've done some reviews. The last couple of episodes have all been reviews of things that we found, and we thought today we'd start with something a little bit different because, we have opinions. And so we thought we'd talk about some of the various ghost hunting shows that we've seen over the years. And so this my personal favorite. The very first, there's been so many, but the first really well-known one that started was in 2002, and guess who? Most Haunted. That's right, Most Haunted with Yvette Fielding and the Fakery crew started ghost hunting back in 2002. And they have been going strong ever since. They're 23 seasons now. Some places I see that they were done in 2019, but I've still seen new stuff come out, so I don't know if they're still filming new or if they're done.
I don't know.
I kind of hope they're done.
Yes.
Although we did review them the other day because they had a show that just seemed to pop up in our recommended list, so we watched it. But they were the original ghost hunting team out there for ghost hunting for entertainment.
Yes.
And I remember the very first episode, because I watched it a while back on Tubi. They were on Tubi for a long time. And the very first episode, Yvette was really just the presenter, is what they call the person who's like the narrator, the person who shows them around and stuff. Yeah. She didn't really get into the ghost hunting stuff. She was obviously nervous about it, but she was there giving the history of the place and all that stuff. And I thought it was pretty good in the beginning, because I didn't know any better. And then, of course, as the show went on, they got more and more ridiculous. That goddamn table tipping makes me crazy every time I watch it. And the rock throwing.
Yes.
And the rock throwing. Every time you turn around, somebody's throwing a rock at them. Anyway, that was the very first one. I don't have no more to say because I've said it all. And if you really want my unvarnished opinion, by all means, message us. I'll give it to you. But anyway, so that was it. And that one went on for a very long time.
Yeah.
The next really well-known group of ghost hunting people were Taps and the Ghost Hunters. So that started October the 6th, 2004.
Yes.
So they went on for a long time. They actually officially ended October 26th, 2016. Now, in that time, do you remember a lot of the different things that they did during that time?
I just remember the infighting.
Oh, okay. That's not really what I meant. But anyway, during that time, that 2004 to 2016, there was also an offshoot called Ghost Hunters International, which I really liked because they went to some really cool international sites.
Yeah.
And they did, what was that one where they had Ghost Hunter Academy?
Yeah.
Which is where a few of the newer ghost hunters have come from. Yeah. Adam Berry came from there, and Susan Slaughter came from there.
Good old Susan.
Yeah, she's the expert on Paranormal Caught on Camera and a couple other sites, and I just have opinions of her too, but we'll talk about that another day. Who else? Well, there was somebody else that came from there. Did Katie come from there?
Yes.
Katie, and then there was another person that came, I don't know. There's been a few that have came out of Ghost Hunters Academy, which is pretty good. So they started off basically as, doing ghost hunting in their spare time. Right. They're plumbers by day, ghost hunters by night. And they had their paranormal, the Atlantic Paranormal Research Society.
Yes.
And they did stuff. It was pretty cool. But over the course of the years, they ended up going to these bigger and bigger sites, always, sites that have been investigated a million times.
They did a lot of lighthouses, too.
They did a lot of that's true, a lot of lighthouses. Because they're right from that area. They're from Rhode Island, aren't they? Like that?
Yeah.
Something like that. Or, yeah. They're right in that area, and lots of lighthouses.
Yeah.
So they did that. As time went on, they stopped doing the houses, and they got into going to those great big sites.
Yeah.
And I found that seemed to get away from their mandate, which was helping people.
Yeah.
They got into it for the Hollywood moments.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. It was revived again by one of the original ghost hunter people who had left the show, Grant Wilson. Back in 2019, A&E signed Grant and his brand new team of ghost hunters. And they had, I think, a season or two. Yeah. It's just a few seasons. Yeah. Mm-hmm. During that time, the other founder of Ghost Hunters, Jason Hawes, started Ghost Nation.
Yes.
Now, Ghost Nation had, they were just the three of them from the original ghost hunting crew. Right. And they wanted to go back to, I guess, kind of their roots, helping people in their homes and stuff. So they created like a network of ghost hunters or paranormal investigators, and these people would come to them with problems or problem cases, and they would go miraculously help solve them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, they're
the best, yeah.
Best.
Yeah. Now, that's not to say that I didn't like ghost hunters, and I just found some of the commercialism, I think, really took over after a while. But yeah, and then after the revived Ghost Hunters was canceled or something like that, then somehow Grant and Jason made some agreement. Grant sold the name Ghost Hunters back to Jason, and then Ghost Nation now become Ghost Hunters again. And I really think that was a smart move. The Ghost Hunter name, the brand, was what was popular. Yeah. Ghost Nation, nobody knew that. Nobody cared. No. Because who's Ghost Nation?
Yeah.
So I think it was smart that he wanted to keep the brand alive. And it's really unfortunate that Grant didn't keep going with...
But Grant never...
He didn't investigate with them.
Yeah.
He was kind of like the principal of the school.
Yeah.
He sort of directed them once in a while, but he had the team go off and do their own thing. Yeah. And nobody really knew who they were. There was no real charisma.
Yeah.
I think that was why I kind of lost interest. It wasn't the investigations. It was I don't know who you people are. I have nothing invested in it.
Them because they really researched places.
Yeah, you liked them.
Yeah.
I just I didn't have that feeling of having that investment in the new team. I just didn't know them. There's so many other programs on that I just never got around to enjoying it.
Yeah.
And of course I work a lot of evenings, so I pick and choose what I'm going to watch. And unfortunately, I'm not fickle. I just don't have time. So anyways, they merge and they're happy. So the next newest one that started, so this was after Ghost Hunters 2004, was Paranormal State. Now, we had that conversation a while back where I thought Paranormal State came before Ghost Hunters, remember? Yeah. And you said, no, go look it up. And unfortunately, you were right, and I was wrong, and I never heard the end of that.
I'm always right.
You're not always right. But anyway, Paranormal State ran for 4 years, from 2007 till 2011. And by all intents and purposes, I think it was fairly well done. But it wasn't kind of as flashy as some of the other shows. Yeah. It was more of a deeper dive into the history of the people and the problems they were having. Yeah. And they were always dark. Paranormal State they were dark, almost always. Because that's what they were looking for.
Yeah.
People would call them for help when they had problems, real problems, and they would pick and choose which ones they went out to see. So they always said they went out to the ones that had the worst problems. So those were obviously the dark ones. Yeah. And it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I know you didn't like it as much.
No.
Because it wasn't as flashy.
Well, no.
It didn't have all the bells and whistles that a lot of the other ghost hunting shows had.
And it was directionless.
Yeah, I didn't feel that way. I found it very interesting.
It had no direction.
They had some people that have gone on to bigger things. Katrina Weidman started out on Paranormal State. When I first was watching her a long time ago, she was one of their investigators in training, and then she became their interviewer. So I think that has helped her immensely with her interviewing skills with her new web series that she's doing.
Yeah.
And Heather Taddy was also an investigator in training with Paranormal State. And so that's where they met and moved on.
Was Chip Coffey?
Chip Coffey, yeah, he came out a few times.
What's her name?
And Lorraine also came out. Michelle Belanger came out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got to meet a lot of people in that show. And I think that was the first show that brought mediums out.
Yeah.
I don't think they really did any other show at that point. So that was good. I mean, they did a lot of good stuff. And then Ryan, the main character dude, went up sort of off the deep end, had some personal issues, and then had to, I guess, the program was canceled because he couldn't keep up at that point, which is too bad. But, how long can you stay in college investing ghosts? Because they were supposed to be a college team. So it was good. So after 2007, so the next group to come along was Zach Bagans and the Ghost Adventures crew.
Yeah.
They created their documentary pilot episode, and then were picked up into a full-fledged series. And my God, they're still going strong. I have a lot of comments about Ghost Adventures. And the worst of it is, I think the biggest issue that I have is they're always looking for the worst. They're always looking for a demon. And folks, I don't know how many of you out there that are listening have ever investigated the paranormal before, but not everything is a demon.
Yeah.
Just because somebody's a bad ghost does not make them a demon. Sometimes you have to think, ghosts or spirits were once people, living, breathing people.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you're a bastard in life, what makes us think that that's going to change just because you're dead? Yeah. You're going to be just as much of a jerk when you're dead. So, always looking for the demonic.
I'm not going to have to change that much. Then I'm not going to have to change that much.
No, you're going to be just as horribly nasty and.
Yeah.
But you're going down, I'm going up. We're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're okay.
We got it covered.
We got it covered. So yeah, Ghost Adventures still going strong. They've gone through a few cast changes. We've heard all about that Nick Groff thing, how they brought in a few other people. The gadgets are always cool, though. They always have cool gadgets. Ghost Adventures. Because they have Bill Chappell, who makes gadgets for them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, I don't always agree with all that stuff, but it is cool to see. And it's interesting. They really are like one of the major teams out there. There's no doubt about it. They're one of the major teams out there. And it's interesting to watch how many other people adopt a lot of the equipment that they've seen on Ghost Adventures. I mean, we've even gotten things that we've seen on Ghost Adventures. Our Ovilus is because we saw it on Ghost Adventures, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love the Ovilus, by the way. So yeah, I mean, that was really, really good. But they've never really gotten away from all the demonic.
Yeah.
And I really
not
hoped
everything is demonic.
I'd really hoped that would change.
Yeah.
But there is a few times, though, that they do call out, well, they don't really call them out on the spot when they see stuff that's wrong. Yeah. They kind of say it after the fact. For example, there was that one show where that guy decked out his house with that one room that he totally destroyed. Remember that? Yeah. He had burnt the Bible and wrote 666 on the walls and all kinds of stuff. And when they went in to investigate, couldn't find nothing. Not a darn thing. So they really did feel that one was all faked and staged just for TV.
Well, yeah, you can't. I've never seen pants nailed to the wall.
Pants nailed to the wall. Yeah, the spirit's just going to take a hammer and nail your pants to the wall.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
and it's just this bunk.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of silly.
Yeah.
And there was another one. They were investigating. It was a live show, and the guy had something in his hand, and he flung it and tried to say the ghost took it out of his hand.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And I don't know if Zach called him on it on the
Told
spot.
him just about.
Did he? Yeah. There was an episode of Ghost Hunters that did something very similar. They were called in to investigate a haunted pub, haunted bar. And they got there, and I remember them being very confused about some of the things they were finding. And then they went into I think it was the bathroom.
Yeah.
And that's when they found cameras behind the mirrors and stuff, and found out the whole place was wired to make it look like it was haunted.
Yeah.
And they called the owner on it on the spot and walked out. That was impressive. That was impressive. That's integrity, though.
Yeah.
That's integrity. You know, I think a lot of people want these ghost hunting teams there because they know they're going to be on TV, and it's publicity.
Yeah.
Cheap publicity for their stuff. Anyway, carrying on. So Ghost Adventure's still running, still finding more demons than ever. And we'll talk about them again another time, I'm sure. Just because they're still around and still going strong. Then there was Ghost Lab. Do you remember Ghost Lab? Yeah. I don't remember much about them, but I do remember there was a lot of equipment that they kind of made themselves. It was Ghost Lab stuff. So that ran only for 1 year, 2009 to 2010. Then Ghost Asylum. Do you remember Ghost Asylum? Same people from Haunted Towns, the Tennessee Wraith Chasers.
But they were discovered on one of Zach's spin-off shows.
Yeah, he did some ghost hunting contest or something. Yeah. That's where they came from. But they started 2014, and they were only around for a year, too, to 2015. But they had another show, like I said, Haunted Towns, came, that was 2 years, 2017 to 2019. Yeah. So they've gotten around. And to this day, I don't think they're on any programming now, but they do an awful lot of on-site investigating, a lot of times when they sell tickets, people go investigate with them. They do a lot on social media.
They're going Bobby Mackey's.
Bobby Mackey's. Yeah. Did they go there?
No, they're going there.
When? Oh, yeah, I saw an ad for that sometime. That's right. And I remember saying I would never go to Bobby Mackey's. No, because we do know there's something bad there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then, let's see, what else? In 2018, Help My House is Haunted came on. Yeah. That's mostly in the Great Britain area.
That is Zach Bagans.
Yeah, he produced it and created that show. Yeah. He's everywhere. I mean, you got to give him props. He knows the business. He knows what people want, and he gives it to them.
Yeah, but even those guys don't find demons.
No.
All the time.
No, thank God, eh? But speaking of, I mean, we have to mention Destination Fear because I can't remember what year that started, Destination. I'm looking it up as we speak. 2019. Okay, that was pretty close. That also was a Zach Bagans creation. He's because Dakota Layden had won a contest to appear. I remember that show. Him and his dad were there investigating. I think it was a prison. Old Montana. I think. Yeah, something like that. And then he became one of his cameramen, which was really good, I think, for Dakota. I think he learned a lot about the business end of things working for Zach. And now, of course, he has taken off onto his own thing, which we've spoken about now. Destination Fear ran for till, just last year. Because there's been nothing new this year. And now they are branching out into their own YouTube channel for Project Fear, which is going to be very similar, as we've said, to the old stuff, but really good, and I'm sure it'll be very well done. So that was my history, sort of in a nutshell, of most of the stuff we're seeing on TV these days. There's so much, and stuff comes up all the time, disappears, goes away.
Comes back in
a new incantation. Paranormal Lockdown, which is what we have playing in the background right now. We just don't have the volume on. That's a Nick Groff thing after he left Ghost Adventures. he's gone on to do a few things. He's got Deathwalker, which is available lots of places now. Tubi. It's also on YouTube TV. We actually found it yesterday. We put a VPN on it and we're able to get it because it's only available. Yeah. It's not available in Canada anywhere yet. So I remember I watched a couple of seasons of it when it was on CTV, but now it's not and can't find it and don't know. So yeah, I was getting a little frustrated, but thought, well, geez, why don't we just put the VPN on? And we did and found it. Yay!
Ta-da.
So yeah,
there's the Ghost Brothers and
oh my gosh, yes, the Ghost Brothers Lab, Lights Out. I mean, there's all kinds. There's that, and then of course there's the Osbournes. But this was like the history. But then there is Portals to Hell. I liked that, but that's there's so many. I mean, we can't go through all of them.
You would be talking.
We'd be talking for days. There's so many. So that was the nutshell of the history, basically. And I think maybe the next time we'll talk about some of the newer ones and kind of do a little bit deeper dive into some of the newer ones, like Portals to Hell and some of those that we've
seen. Jack Osbourne.
God, yeah, Jack, he's amazing. He's got all kinds of stuff, all kinds of pokers in the fire, and I'd love to chat with him one day because I'm sure he's got so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ball lightning. His dad and ball. There's t-shirts out for Ozzy Osbourne fans who happen to like Osbourne's Want to Believe. And it is Ozzy with a big old thing that says ball lightning. It's ball lightning. Yeah. Which is hilarious. And if you've never watched Osbourne's Want to Believe, then you wouldn't understand it. And I'm sorry. So there we go. That's our show for today, talking about some of the history of some of where we came from with ghost shows. And next step, we'll talk about where we're going, we think.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's it for them today. I hope you enjoyed listening. Please, if you think we forgot something or skipped over something too much, please drop us a message in the comments below or send us an email or a message on Twitter. I've taken off the thing that says you couldn't send a message. I found that it was blocked. I think we'd had too many private messages that were dumb, so I had closed it down for a while and forgot to reopen it. Anyway, it's open now for messages. If you want to send us a message, you certainly can. And that's it.
Yes.
So have a good evening.
Good night.
And happy haunting. Bye now.